Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. There's been some more news coming out of the Gundam live-action movie, but it seems to be changing around, and we don't really know exactly what's going on, what's been confirmed. I want to break down some of that here real quick, but also I want to bring up something else that just blows my mind. So, as I was doing research for the live-action Gundam movie, I came across this article with Jim Mickle. Okay, and so this was from something called twitchfilm.com, and this is in 2010. So check this out. Okay, what is the first moment you remember thinking that making movies was something you wanted to do? His answer, Jim Mickle, it sounds predictable, but I remember the exact shot in Army of Darkness, where all of my unfocused interest in the film world kind of clicked into place. I knew exactly what I wanted to be doing. I was about 13, obsessed with makeup effects and animatronics, and was always trying to build monsters with bike brakes, cables, and cheap latex. The idea of making movies was just an excuse to try out FX gags, but about 10 minutes into Army of Darkness, there's a wide shot of them pulling up to the castle, and I remember being completely caught up by the filmmaking up to that point. I was aware for the first time of the language of storytelling, and whoever was making the movie was having fun with camera moves, compositions, costumes, music, there were all those other elements to filmmaking, and I started paying attention to. Now, the reason that is such a big deal to me is I myself have always wanted to be a filmmaker, even though I never was really doing the things to get there, so I kind of just make videos and tell stories with my channels. But Army of Darkness was the movie that got me interested in making movies myself. And just like he's saying, it looked like whoever was making it was having fun with the camera. And that's one of the biggest things of Army of Darkness I love, is how the camera is treated like a character. And especially from back then, it's all using practical camera movements that are very extreme. You got Dutch angles, you have zoom shots, but it's all done, without how we see camera usually done nowadays. It's all like a CGI camera placed somewhere to get some fake view of something. But the Army of Darkness love doesn't stop there, because there's another element of Army of Darkness that I love that's part of the original Gundam that has to do with the character in their world. In Army of Darkness, Ash is a character put into a situation he doesn't want to be in. On top of that, he's asked to be a hero. He is tasked with saving the day. He doesn't want to be that guy. He doesn't care about that, but he just kind of has to do it. And I think anyone can kind of relate to a character like that. There's just responsibilities you have in life, and sometimes you just want to chill, not have to worry about it. And we see that same thing with Amuro in the original Gundam 0079. Now, that is kind of a trope with most of these characters, these younger pilots that get into their Gundam mobile suit. But with Amuro specifically, you see that journey as he's just this tech kid that's kind of arrogant in a way, but very nice to people. And then when he gets into the situation to save the day, he tries what he can. But then he's like, look, guys, that's all you. I'm done. I don't want to have to fight. But they're like, well, you're the only one that can. To the point where he gets pushed away, where he decides to leave. He doesn't care about anybody. He's doing his own thing, but then he gets called back. And that's exactly what happened to Bruce Campbell's character, Ash, in Army of Darkness. And I love that sort of arc. So if that's some of the things Jim Mickle is picking up to be able to portray within this new live-action Gundam movie, I'm going to be super excited. I'm talking about Amuro as if this is based on Gundam 0079, and we really don't know yet, right? The closest that we've gotten, okay, for any confirmation, for sure, Sydney Sweeney. We've kind of seen multiple reports of it. Also, I posted an interview that was done with Jim Mickle, not an interview I did, but from another podcast, where on it, he's confirming that they have Sydney Sweeney for this. And I also find it interesting, she recently was saying that they're asking her, are you working on it? She says every day. Her haircut, as of recent, has been more of that Sayla style. Anyway, there's a lot of reasons I would think it would be 0079, except Nexus Point News comes to us with an article. And in it, they're saying sources point to the film adapting Mobile Suit Gundam, the 08th MS team, a gritty ground-level story set during the Warring War. And if you're on this channel, you know 08th MS team. If you don't, it's kind of a side story that takes place during the original Gundam Universal Century. Universal Century is what I want this movie to be about. The original Gundam is what I want it to be about, but it's still during that same timeline. The thing is, 08th MS team stars what I assume is a Japanese character, Shiro Amada. Like, he's a Japanese character. So far, none of the actors they've picked really fit that. And even if Sydney Sweeney's to play Aina, the Zeon soldier, the love interest on the other side, I still don't think, and obviously they would adapt it, but that is a strong enough character that they would use Sydney Sweeney for. I don't know. I'm still assuming that this is 0079. But also from their sources saying it's 08MS team, and again, we don't know what the sources are. In fact, if you look at any of their exclusives on Nexus Point News, I don't know how much of this stuff is really valid, substantial. Maybe there could be some deeper digging here, but I didn't want to really go that far because I don't think you're really going to get anywhere in terms of clout by talking about the Gundam movie news. So I don't see any reason for someone to make this stuff up, but I can see getting tidbits and maybe confusing what Gundam property is being talked about. Because this newest one is with this Noah Centineo. Now, apparently, they're saying he's maybe taking Drew Starkey's place. It's not clear. It says he was previously in talks, falling off. And they even updated their article to say Drew Starkey is no longer in talks. The deal didn't go through. Now, to me, he looked like a good Char. But if you were to replace him with Noah Centineo, and apologies for if I'm getting that wrong, he doesn't necessarily look like Char, but again, he's actually playing Ken Masters in the Street Fighter. Huge Street Fighter fan, so kind of funny. There's a crossover there. And, they're giving him that blonde hair. And it's like, you know what? You could probably pull that off. It really depends on what they want to get out of the acting. So while first look at that actor, I don't necessarily see Char. It could be that's where they're going, but it also might not be any of this stuff. And I'm just speculating, really. But I will say, for his name being Noah and his age at 29, he could potentially maybe play a bright Noah. I would think that within the movie, I think there's going to be a lot of supporting cast members that I think are going to be strong contenders for these actors they're picking. Because you got maybe Benson Boone for Amuro, but that hasn't been confirmed. Sydney Sweeney as Sayla, which I think is a good pick for that. But then you would need your Char, you would need your Bright, potentially the Mirai character. There's a few characters that you would want strong leads or co-leads for. And also, Noah Centineo is not only in that Street Fighter movie, but also playing Rambo in a new Rambo movie. So there's even more, credibility to him being a lead type role. Okay, so to recap, I think really the only things confirmed right now is that Sydney Sweeney's in the movie, Jim Mickles directing, and Noah Centineo is probably in talks, and I don't think it's necessarily confirmed yet. Now, Nexus Point News, again, they could really have sources, and they just can't reveal that stuff, and I get it. But it just, to me, 08MS team doesn't make sense, considering it's a Japanese lead. I don't think they would change the race. They could. Maybe. I know they've done that before. I don't necessarily have a problem with it, except if you're really into the original story and the original characters, it would be weird to change them. I don't know, to be honest. But also, I'm not going to sit around and spend my time being negative about this movie. If I'm going to spend my time talking about this movie, I'm going to do it in a positive light. I'm going to be excited about it. If I don't care about this movie, you guys won't hear me talk about it. So really, if in the comments it's just like, well, this movie's going to be trash, blah, blah, blah. Like, you know what? Unless you can show me some credentials you have to make what you're saying worth it to me, I kind of don't care. You could probably leave it out of the comments. All right, and that's about it for now. Again, I got to say, I am super pumped that Jim Mickles' influence for filmmaking is Army of Darkness, one of my top 3 favorite movies of all time, next to Aliens and Blade. All 3 of those movies just have awesome world building and characters that are kind of relatable because of the odds that they're going up against. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think below, and also subscribe if you haven't. Shout out to the supporters that make this possible. If that's something you're into, check the links in the description below. We also have a link to our Discord. We have a lot of fun there, but until next time, be cool.